Welcome, Danny and Karen,
Good
to
morning.
Zero Waste Online Big Festival.
Yeah, good morning, Carolina. Nice to see your face.
Good morning.
Yes, nice to meet you online.
Yes,
Haven't met in person yet, but we will one day.
one day. And thank you for all your help behind the scenes and inviting us to be a part of Zero Waste Festival. I believe on a recommendation from Tamara Russell, who's also been on this festival. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, Tamara is also behind the scenes, and she's been really, really great too. So we're really glad that you guys could join us for a repair discussion. But before we get into it, we do have just some words from one of our sponsors who's made it possible to run the festival today. So if you just bear with me one moment, we'll go into that. So our sponsor for this interview is Retub. And I'll just go into that. So Retub is a zero waste company. And retubs are like reusable coffee cups for food with a built-in container exchange program. Retubs don't just reduce takeaway food packaging waste, they're also great as lunchboxes and food storage at home. Made from premium glass with a silicone lid and heat protective base, retubs are microwavable, freezable and dishwasher safe. Easy to stack and store, award-winning design. Get yours today at retub.com.au.
Thank you to Retub for sponsoring us.
Yes.
Thank you.
they're really great company, and it's good for people to support zero waste businesses, especially during this time when it's so difficult for so many little smaller businesses. So yes, thanks Retub. All right, so we'll get into it. So I guess as a bit of an introduction, Karen and Danny, you're both retirees, but now you're active and self-directed volunteers that are sharing your knowledge and experience of repair. And you've, since 2015, you've been traveling around Australia and to over 85 organised community repair events, which is amazing. That's a lot of repairing that went on. And I know that you also go by the name Tinkering Travelers, which is really, really cute. I like that. Yes, and I know that as well that your goal is about raising awareness of the value of reuse and repairing, which is fantastic. As one of the R's, Zero Waste Victoria and community, we strongly support that, and our members want to know more about that. So I guess to start things off, what inspired you to start raising awareness on repair?
Well, we have always repaired, so I suppose we were raising awareness just by doing what we do at home. But that wasn't enough. Once we retired, we realised there was a whole community out there that needed to become more aware of repair and the value and the benefits of repair for the planet, their hip pocket, and really important. And to certainly reduce waste. And Danny and I decided that it would be a really good thing to go and volunteer in the community and online to raise awareness of repair. That was something that we could actually do and give our time to. And Danny has a story about the tip shop.
Oh yes, we've got a lot of stuff from that tip shop, and it's amazing what people throw out. And a lot of times it was working, but I've got a few lawnmowers going, and we've furnished some of the house. What else have we done? So plenty of sewing machines. Karen loves that.
Yes, so
she loves sewing machines. TVs, got TVs off marketplace. Tip shop, I think there's one, I think it's probably 8 years old and it's still going.
And virtually a brand new laptop from the tip shop.
We're using it now, actually.
Really?
So.
Oh, okay. It's still going strong. But, of course, I can see you really well. So.
Well, it's only 3 years old, and someone threw it out.
Somebody threw it out.
Someone threw it out.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
With the electric charger for it as well. So just picked it up, and it was in the e-waste. So it's just amazing.
That's one of the I guess one of the questions that people had. It was about the type of items that are the hardest to repair. Do you find that laptops and electronics are one of the harder ones that people struggle with?
It is getting harder because the OEMs are. That's
the original equipment manufacturers. We call them OEMs.
Right. So like Apple, Samsung, LG, and all that. They're designing their products to. I'll give you an example. This is a Samsung phone that's probably 4 years old. Back then, it was safe to take the back off and pull the battery out.
Right, yeah.
Not a problem.
Those days. Yeah.
Now, we got these phones that they glue the back on, and they tell us it's not safe to do that anymore because they glue it and we can't access the batteries anymore. So you've got to, I can do it because all I got to do is heat it up and wait till the glue softens and you peel it off and you can access the back then. But for someone who wants to extend the life of a phone like this, just go out and buy a battery, they can't anymore. They've got to take it to the repair shop or go into Apple store or Samsung store, and the price is nearly the cost of buying a new phone. And that's what they want you to do. Rather than spending $500 or $300, whatever it may cost to repair a screen or a battery, I might as well get a new one. So that's adding to the e-waste, and that's what's got to change. That's what legislators and politicians have got to catch up with. You know, these companies are probably 5-10 years in front of the law. And look, they're not breaking the law. They're just not helping the environment and the planet. Their main goal is to make $1. They don't care. They might say they've got a recycling program and they got this and that. But if you design a product where, like this laptop, I can put RAM in it, you can change the hard drive in it and all that. But the manufacturers now, they're actually soldering these components permanently to the motherboard. So if the motherboard fails, you've got to get a whole new computer, basically. So that design is not helpful for what our community wants to do. We need to change that, and we need to get it legislated that they actually make things repairable, you know, and make a product last more than 18 months. That's ridiculous, you know. A phone is a phone. I think the phone I use is probably 5 years old, and I'm still happy with it. So
that was the case. I experienced that with the older phones, and I know what you mean. And I think a lot of people out there would remember or know about that to some extent. But when it comes to repair legislation, that's not something that is in yet. But I guess that's why some companies perhaps are taking advantage of that in terms of the limitations. And I guess we will get into that a bit more, and we can get into that a bit more now. But I thought before we do get into that, might just ask you a little bit more around, I guess, people being able to repair objects and that sort of thing, and then we can spend a solid amount of time on repairs, because I think that's going to be there's going to be a lot of questions that people might have about that. So I guess there's like what could be, you know, you were just mentioning then regarding the electronics, the some of it's been purposely constructed so that it's hard to pull apart, but if you're a novice and you want to try and just have a go at repairing things, even if they're not electronics, because there's so many things you can repair, what would be your advice for them to get started?
Well, our first and foremost one is that it's broken. So whatever you do next, it's not going to hurt it's not going to change the item. The item's still broken. Yeah. So whatever you do, it's going to be, you're heading in the right direction for a start because you're going to attempt it. So that's a start. Rather than just throwing it in the bin that's broken, if you make an attempt, that's a start. I use Google, online forums, YouTube, my own skills. Mm-hmm. You don't need a lot of specialty tools, although manufacturers do put security screws in. But I've got this, I got this little toy microphone that our grandson, it failed. It's got a speaker on the bottom here, and that stopped working. So I just waited, and I found a iPod, an old iPod player, and it had two of these speakers in it.
Yeah, well, I remember that.
I put one of them in the top there. I just soldered the speaker into it, and it worked. Wow. So our grandson's very happy with that. So I think if you start your first item, you will develop, things will start happening in your brain where you've got to look outside the box. You know,
you've got to be creative.
Yeah, this is all I've got. But then you think, well, I need one of these. Where can I get one? A speaker. I need a speaker. Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you, I couldn't find one online, and I wouldn't have bought one online because I knew the universe would eventually supply a speaker for us. So I did that, and very happy about that. And recently, my son got a slow cooker, and the knob stopped working.
Yep.
So I pulled it apart. All it was two nuts on the bottom, and the whole thing just pulled apart. So it's very hard to, I suppose, if you haven't got the talent,
or the skills,
or
the
ability,
interest,
it's very hard, I suppose, to think that you can do it. But I'll just give you a quick career line of what in my life. I started out.
Yeah, sure.
I started out as a printing mechanic, a linotype mechanic, right? And that job finished up in about 1981 when they went to computerisation. So I just very good mechanically, and then I worked with electricians. I was an assistant there, and I got a restricted electrical licence. And then I thought, well, I was working with the railways. I ended up driving trains for 30 years, something I thought I'd never do, but I could do it. I could do it. So I suppose that's the story I'm sort of saying. You can progress and eventually do something you didn't think you could do at all. And
well, we all have to start somewhere, don't we? Like
that's it.
What you're saying is, if you just give it a go, even if it seems a bit daunting in the beginning, you go, what is a screwdriver? Okay, that's a bit, firstly finding out some of that, and then, but just having a go, like say the examples you're showing there with the slow cooker, and even me, who's I'm a self-confessed not great fixer, but have tried. But it's just like looking at an object first and going, okay, so how do you actually pull it apart? Most things have screws. that looking at, okay, and that helps, yeah, like you said, there's certain skills, and if you get it wrong, well, you tried and you can learn from that, right? Is that what you're getting at as well? Like, yeah.
But also you can use your own online skills to do the research, because most people are pretty adept to looking around, doing a Google or whatever, and you just go in, how to pull apart a slow cooker, and away you go. Not that I had to do that, but
we talk about tools, or Danny mentioned tools and getting into these things with screws. Well, it's not that easy these days, and we won an iFixit kit. Am I got it up the right way?
Yep.
And it's a Manta driver kit from iFixit, and all those little things there are little screw bits. So it gets into those security screws that are on the
specific
products.
For iPhones?
No, even for that cooker, there was special screws.
Oh, right.
Yeah, to keep you out fixing things.
Like even we got an iron the other day, and it was brand new, but the person that gave it to us, it had she wasn't happy with it, and they just sent out a new one to her. But what we liked in the back here was their warranty, where they gave you a 12-month warranty?
It's a 2-year warranty.
Two-year warranty, but they also state in it that you have got rights through your own consumer law here in Australia. So
right.
That's what the other thing that we also like to mention to people is that. Oh, sorry. Sorry, a bit off track. Yes.
We'll go
that's all right.
We'll come to that with right to repair and consumer rights.
It's in to get in there, and I want to get in there with you. But just before we do, I think just one other thing, and I'm not going through all the questions, because I think it's more important that we do get to, because it does gravitate back, and it's good to know, because like when you start with an object and then you realize you may know the basics about how to maybe pull it apart, and you can certainly Google it, but then there's the tools and the access to those tools and then the manuals, right?
Yes,
but right. I guess one aspect too that you guys are very much where you guys are very much involved in is repair events, and then of course there's repair cafes, yes, which some of our audience might be familiar with, some of them not, but that seems to be a really great model for people to start too, right? In terms of if you can start with Google, and you can certainly do that. You can ask someone you think has those skills, yes, and that's also really valuable.
Yes. Well, that's right. You can reach out and ask people, like people behind the scenes will send messages to Mended Australia on Facebook, and we get quite a bit of that. People not actually on the page but behind the scenes sending us photos or videos saying, oh, I've just got a vintage sewing machine from Nana. How do I fix it? How do I get it going? It's not moving. It seems stuck or whatever. And we can oftentimes help them online. We had one from Canada where somebody was having trouble with her toaster, and we were able to repair over the internet from Canada, which was great, and help her. So reaching out, definitely. And then there are the repair cafes reaching out face to face at repair cafes or community repair events. We don't just like to mention repair cafes because there are other fix-it type events, so we like to promote them too. And that's where you can go along and sit opposite a repairer or a mender and learn how to do the repair yourself if you wish. Some people don't want to. They don't want to learn. However, that's okay. That's okay. They watch and they have more respect for their item once they see how much love, care and attention goes into fixing it, and that item takes on meaning. So you might fix a textile like the one hanging there, a fast fashion textile that was virtually ready for landfill. You fix that, and they might wear it for another 6 months, and they wear a part of you, the repairer, the mender, with them. And I think it's those connections, those feelings are very special that the community repair events bring out.
And I always love handing my tools over to someone that wants to have a go. I really, that question that, oh, can I have a go? Certainly. And I love handing my tools over and just watching them and sort of guiding the next step. And that sort of gives them the confidence to, maybe do it at home. But it's quite enlightening if they can bring their own broken whatever down. All these repairers or fixers or menders, they're just so keen to help that person, whatever they bring in. So
and to spread the word, because one person then goes home and talks about it, and the word spreads, and that's what we're all about. Our mission's all about getting that awareness out there of repair, and so we know that one person sitting opposite us will definitely spread the word to family and friends, and those family and friends will spread the word. And so repair is getting out there. It's been slow because we've been doing it for a long time, but we are seeing change. It was really great the other night to see Costa getting his grandfather's saw fixed, and before he went into the Bower in Marrickville in Sydney, he was saying now there is reduce, reuse and recycle, but there's also one more. And he said it's repair, and I'm going into the Bower to repair Granddad's saw. That was great for us to hear that from a celebrity, helping to get the word out as well. So there's rumblings.
Definitely, because it was a more common practice, and there was a passing down of tradition of skills and traditions and objects, and evaluating objects to say, with like when you inherit an object that's been made with lots of care, and unfortunately some of objects now haven't maybe been made so well, hence they may break easier, and which brings us to repair legislation, because part of it is about the design of some of these things that have been made, so that have been done, so that they're hard to repair, either because you can't access the tools like you've been saying, or you can't maybe access the manuals, but then also because of the quality of it. So what would you like to say a bit more about repair laws and that aspect?
Well, it's big, and we're not lawyers. However, we are campaigning and advocating for the right to repair in various ways. So we believe, Danny and I, that we just have a fundamental right to repair. We're humans, that we should be able to buy something and repair it. And we carry that through in our daily lives, around the house, making sure our things are cared for, maintained and repaired. And we believe we just have that human right to repair, and that's not enshrined in law or anything like that. It's just that fundamental feeling that we're human, and that's what we should be doing. So we really do advocate and promote that. And that came about when, unfortunately, we had issues locally, and we were unable to repair in our local community for various reasons, more around legalities, liabilities, and probably just maybe ignorance of not understanding where repair was heading and how important it was. So when you're told no, you can't repair, that was quite a positive for us. A negative turned into a positive, and we said, well, we're not hearing that. We're getting out there, and we're going and we're repairing, and we're going to find like-minded people that want to repair with us. And we did. There were, you know, municipalities and communities a lot more progressive than where we live, and we were dogged to find them, and they accepted us with open arms. So change does take some time to happen in regards to repair and, you know, right to repair, I guess. So that's a personal example. We have consumer law in Australia that is quite robust. And I have given you the link, Carolina, to the ACCC's page on consumer law around replacement and repair. And what was the other one? Replacement, repair, and there's one other. I can't think. The consumer law states that besides, you know, the warranty, you have rights in consumer law to actually have things, you know, that break that you've bought fixed. So to give you an example, our daughter had a washing machine that was 2 years old that failed recently, and the latch failed on it. Now, this is just a practical example of how our consumer law works. Now, it was out of warranty. However, under our consumer law, she had a right to whatever, refund, replacement, or what would be the other one? Refund, replacement, I'm trying to think. And so... Exchange? Yes.
It's about use. I think it's about fair use, you know. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's there.
Refund.
Yeah,
totally refund.
For when you post it up. Anyway, she was basically told that that latch could not be replaced. There wasn't a part available. It couldn't be fixed. So it's out of warranty. So she will have to buy a new one. Well, luckily, you know, we knew that that wasn't the case because of our consumer law. So we advised her not to buy a new one straight away and to check out with the ACCC what her rights were. We sent her the link to the ACCC's rights, and then she had those to be able to ring the actual place where she bought the washing machine originally, and they kept saying, no, you can't, and we can't get on to the original equipment manufacturer, and, you know, the argy-bargy and the story that went on for, you know, a couple of weeks. But in the end, the actual OEM sent out a voucher for her to get a new washing machine. So it's really important to know your consumer rights, and they will oftentimes override that warranty. I think that's, you know, all I can probably say there without being a lawyer, and hopefully that helps people. And Danny showed this before. This is just a Sunbeam brochure that comes with your new iron. Well, it's all there, what I've just said. And it's a bit legal speak. It's not as simple as I've explained it, but basically what I've said is how it works. So even though it says 2-year warranty here, if your expectation is higher and you haven't abused your iron, you have those rights that I just spoke about. So that's that. Then there's the Design Act 2003, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but there is a repair defence in the Design Act. So if, for example, I suppose I'm just trying to sort of give an example here. If Westinghouse decided that Danny's changed the design by putting on a hi-fi knob, and we're going to take him to court, well, we have a repair defence under the Design Act that says, well, we needed to repair it, basically, and you didn't have the spare part available because we don't make spare parts. So we feel we're within our rights to actually use a different style of knob than was originally intended by the designer at Westinghouse. And this is really simple, and this would probably never happen, but it's a bit tongue-in-cheek example, but I think it gives you an idea on a bigger scale how the repair defence might work. So that's that example. So that's covered there under the Design Act. Now,
so what you're saying there, sorry, Karen, so just to clarify there, so what you're saying is it's not just because the warranty says, that has a time limit, but also just because they're saying we don't have that part doesn't mean that if you repaired it, they couldn't, then the company then couldn't say, well, we can't repair it because you replaced a part on it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's within consumer law too. And ACCC took Apple to court over that in Australia about they were saying they couldn't repair phones because people had taken them to third-party repairers. They hadn't taken them to Apple, and under our law, you can't do that. Apple can't do that. So we can take our phones to third-party repairers basically to get them repaired, and that's under our consumer law. So a lot of people think they've got to go back to the original equipment manufacturer. As with cars too, a lot of people think they've got to go back to wherever, Holden or Ford or wherever, and or else
their warranty's void.
Yeah, their warranty's void. That's not the case. We have consumer law that gives us broader rights than that. So it's really important to know your rights when you're signing up to contracts. And a lot of the new tech, they'll get you to sign end user license agreements, and many people here might have signed those agreements to do with phones and things like that, basically saying you don't own that phone, and we own it, we can repair it, and you've got no rights. So it's ownership is another big issue that is going to come up. Do you really own what you've bought? And the farmers are taking that to the ACCC shortly. Danny and I did a submission to the ACCC Farmers Inquiry into aftermarket parts because they want to be able to go in and fix their tractors that are highly digitalised, and the tractor manufacturers are saying, well, no, we own the intellectual property to all of that. We don't want you tampering with any of that. So it really is big. I'm covering it very broadly and very quickly.
There's lots to it.
Yeah.
So you're doing good. There's lots to it, but you're doing a great job.
Good. So as far as, right to repair goes, it's worldwide. It's a worldwide movement. It's really important for people to perhaps understand that there are, a couple of handfuls of people in Australia that are pushing this forward for Australia to enshrine right to repair in legislation over and above the Design Act, over and above the Consumer Rights Act. So if we get it into law as its own entity, that would be really, really good. Because it starts to address some of these issues that we're talking about, and may hold the OEMs more to account on how they've got to design things, and the aftermarket service that they've got to provide, the manuals they've got to provide, the schematics they've got to provide for people that want to fix things. And that's basically what
about parts?
Parts.
What about parts? Is that
Parts,
something?
yes.
Yeah, that would be part of it as well. Yeah.
There would be parts as well. Now, the EU has gone ahead and has laws that were meant to come in April, but because of COVID, it's all been delayed. So by the end of the year, the EU should have pretty much, enshrined in their legislation that computers, but not tablets or smartphones, dishwashers, fridges and freezers for the house, not commercial, TVs, washing machines and dryers, external power supplies, because how many of those does everyone have, and they're all different, and welding equipment will have to be designed appropriately to be repaired, and they will be allowing third-party repairers to repair these things, not people like Danny and myself, which is interesting because that gets to what the states want to do. And that they will have to make parts available for a number of years, 7 years or whatever, quite a long time. They're the target products for the EU to be bringing in maybe by the end of 2021. I'm not 100% sure because of COVID. The US has a real, strong right to repair movement. The EU is more about design and the circular economy and designing products appropriately. The US is more about consumer right. I just want that right to repair my product. And the OEM has basically got to, allow it all to, happen. It's more a compliance right to repair. So consumers there just want to be able to, tinker and not just have third-party repairers repair stuff. Consumers
and not be consumers. So that's an interesting that's being distinguished in different laws, and I mean it's not yet in Australia, but you're saying that there perhaps has to be not only that there has to be laws that protects these entities, but that this entity, but it has to be distinguished between the, I'm not sure what you call it, but I guess like regular, like community repairers versus the third-party repairers, and of course including the original,
equipment
manufacturer as well.
Yeah, so you can imagine, Carolina, it really is quite big when you talk about right to repair. There are a lot of players in there with a lot of their own interests, and yes, and it's just not going to happen overnight. But according to our sources and what we listen to, it is going to happen. It's the right time.
The matter of time.
Because of all the e-waste, discussions about the climate crisis. Consumers are just getting fed up, basically. They want change. We see it at repair cafes and community repair events. Trying to get into things that are glued shut or cheap and nasty products that really are throwaway. We don't want that anymore, and we're seeing that more and more, and we're just saying no. We want quality, we want repairability, we want manuals, we want schematics to, if the thing is electronic, you need schematics to know how to work out how to fix a TV, not just a manual. You need the drawings, the electronic drawings. So it is big, but what I would suggest is not everyone's going to get as deep as, we've gone, because we are actually advocating for the right to repair movement, and we're quite vocal about it, and we're discussing many things with people that are interested in it. Not everyone's going to get that deep. However, just by knowing about the right to repair movement, signing the petition, and I know I've given you that link to the Bowers
petition, which we will send that to everyone who's registered here, but we'll probably try and post it on online as well, like do another post on Zero Waste Victoria as well, just so that it gets out there more broadly.
That would be really good, yes. And the Bauer doesn't talk a lot about electronics in its, of course it wants to repair everything, but it's not so much about electronics. But the Right to Repair Europe link that I've sent you, their petition is about smartphones, because they want to be able to repair smartphones. And that list I gave you in the EU there doesn't include the tablets or the smartphones. So there is a petition, even though it's coming out of Europe, anyone, anywhere can find that. So if you could send that out too, because smartphones, it's basically, you know, it's glued to our hand.
Everyone has one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
don't go far without.
Sorry.
We don't go far without one. So yes, it's important that they're included in there as an. I mean, it's become like like just a compulsory item almost. And it would be great to be able to repair parts of it, or at least, you know, being able to just put, you know, like the most common thing being like the screens. If you could get a screen and repair it yourself somehow. If you had like access to like the manuals or schematics, then
Well, Danny,
I did that one.
Danny did that one. However, now if you're doing that type of thing with the more modern ones, it'll lock you out. Apple or Samsung, they'll lock you out of it. You won't be able to do it. You won't be able to use your phone. Whereas this Samsung 7, Danny could do the screen on that. Now, you know, he just went on and watched a YouTube video and took his time and waited for a cheap screen to front up on eBay. And I have a new phone that's more than suitable for what I need to do.
Yes, Carolina, what they're doing now with especially Apple with the newer phones, they put software locks on everything. So if you replace the screen on the Apple phone that you just bought and you didn't want to go back to Apple, that screen's got to be paired with the device, you know, so it's got to go back to Apple. It has to go back to Apple for them to program it, you know, and that's sort of something that, why do you need it there for? As you said before, everyone breaks screens. They break all the time. So it's just a way to get people to go back. Oh, look, it's going to cost you $400. Oh, you're better off buying this phone. This is only $600. You might as well get a new phone. And again, it's that total disregard for what they're doing to the planet, just more waste. And
ripping us off, as Costa said last night when he was talking to us.
That's right. It's a big rip, and it becomes it is a big rip off actually. And I suppose I mean it's a whole area in itself, I suppose. You know, because then there's like the telecommunications companies are kind of complicit a little bit, because they want to sell phones and plans. So it's cheap. You can just go on a plan. Don't worry about paying. You know, you're going to pay outright $400, or you can just pay, you know, $79 a month and be on a plan for I don't know how long. Yeah. So
in the plans and what you're signing in those plans, and what are your rights as you're signing up in those plans? What do you have to do? You know, So when you're signing those plans, or you're signing up to a new phone and buying it, you know, totally yourself, and you know you think you own it, you could be very, very wrong.
And that's another good point you bring up, Carolina, is that we have been talking about the manufacturers and all that, but it also gets back to what you and I do. Karen knows, you know, it's what we can achieve if we stop doing it. They'll have to change the way they do things. And I think that's what people lose track of, is that we do have that consumer power. I know one or two people, but if more and more get on that bandwagon, they're going to have to change the way they do things. And because they still want to make their dollar, and if they're not making their dollar, they've got to find a different way to do it. So whether they reward...
and if there's demand from the consumer, then they have to respond to that. They want to, because they want to make they want to make sure they keep it, their person. And
that's where maybe if people start saying out there, I want to buy this phone, but in 2 years' time, I want to be able to upgrade it. Don't want to buy a whole new phone. I want to be able to upgrade it with that new tech you got, and that's what they need to do.
Yeah,
That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
So
They could. It's almost like not the same, but similar kind of idea of. Well, when the internet came along and e-commerce, and it scared a lot of like the retailers, etc. But it was about having to adapt. Those companies having to adapt, especially record companies, etc. And I know it's a completely different scenario, but it's they have that if manufacturers could adapt and allow for the fact that pet consumers want to replace certain parts, they could make it a thing that the people like to do. It's like, oh, you can customize it to your whatever you want. They sell the parts. It's actually makes some money too.
Absolutely. And, there are some champions of that. There are original equipment manufacturers starting to get on board with, changing out parts. Like there's a European phone that's not here yet in Australia called Fairphone. And you can do exactly what you're talking about, but it costs. It's more expensive, but you can swap out the parts and upgrade. And their focus is more on that sustainability side of things. And more companies are, I believe Philips is also looking at becoming more sustainable in relation to their electronic equipment. So we need to be looking at those companies when you go buying something.
Yes, and I guess it's so when you're looking at an object, maybe that's a good place to go next. But before we do that, I just want to acknowledge Chloe's not a question, but a statement saying that she's sharing how amazing she felt fixing her own phone screen, and she never thought she'd be able to do that. And she did, as you mentioned, found a tutorial on YouTube, got the kit online, and she just gave it a go. And she's so chuffed. Now she's going to try and fix other things, right? So I just want to share that because
well done.
That was great.
I think we just need to go back to what Karen was saying about how we've got companies out there that are trying to change the way they do things. We also have companies out there that do greenwashing, and Karen would be able to sort of tell you about greenwashing. They say they're doing something, but it's actually not really helping the planet at all.
Well, Apple's not too bad on its greenwashing. They say that, and they're well known for it. And we won't go into it, but they are renowned.
Oh, other topic. Yes. They
are renowned for greenwashing, about how they're becoming more sustainable and all of that. But the circles that we live in online in relation to right to repair, Apple still has a long way to go.
Oh yeah, and they're such a big global corporation too. I guess that's where they can kind of it might appear that they can hide behind that. It's good. That's where like the repair laws are important, because if a particular country has certain laws, they have to abide by those laws.
Yeah,
even it doesn't matter if they're in a US company. They have to.
Yep. Yeah. And the ACCC brought Apple to account here, as I mentioned. Not a big fine for the company that Apple is. I think it was 9 million. But, we have consumer laws and they have to abide by them. So if right to repair laws come in here, or whatever type of law you want to call it, it mightn't be called a right to repair law, but if a right to repair laws come in here, Apple will have to abide by those.
Yes. I think we might go into some questions from people, if that's okay, Karen and Danny, because there's some coming through. So Angela's asking a question about warranties, and she's giving the example about a car. So she bought a used car from a dealer. They said there's an extended warranty if the car is serviced there. every service, not just some, even if it's another Mitsubishi dealer, it must be a Mitsubishi. So she's wondering, from what you said about warranties, is that misleading what the dealership is saying to her? Can I actually go to my local dealer, or is it better to go to a local mechanic, and will I still retain that warranty? So this is not a new car, but there's a warranty on it from a secondhand dealer, and they're saying to her, no, you can't go and get it. You have to get a service from there.
We'll see.
Yeah, look, I would say she needs to look at her contract, because our daughter had the same thing. She had to take it back to where she bought the car and get it serviced. So it's probably in her contract to say that if you don't do that, your warranty's void. And if she's not sure, get the ACCC to run it past them, because they'll help.
Okay.
The person on the phone they're really good.
Yeah, we've found the agency to be very informative, and look, Angela may have already contacted them, but as Danny said, I'd forgotten about our daughter. So yeah, always check your contract, what you've signed. And it's oftentimes in that legal speak and you don't know what it means, so that's when the ACCC can help you. I hope that helps, Angela. Keep at it. Yeah, make sure you're still confident that you know what you're doing.
Yes, and it's great having the ACCC, who they're an independent body, aren't they? They're a consumer watchdog.
Their government.
Yeah, their government. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But still, that they're there. That they're independent from industry, I suppose.
Yeah.
So then,
yeah.
With the point, they're trying to meet.
Even if she doesn't quite get the right answer or get an answer that she's comfortable with, there's also the Victorian Ombudsman. They maybe look at that as well.
Yep.
Found them pretty good as well. Obviously, you got to find the right department to go there, but we found them quite well as well. They've done us, especially with telecommunications. They were excellent.
Yeah. So
great. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the couple of options people have. There's two other questions and they're kind of similar but about different objects. They say, what do you do if you have ants inside either like an object that you're trying, like, in how do you get them out? Like the one example is a laptop and printer, and the other one is a bread maker. So what do you do with ants? Yeah,
we've had some biological things front up in things that we've fixed at Repair Cafe. They're sort of like burnt bugs in items. It happens. They sort of creep in, and when you Danny's had a few of those.
Are they still active? That's my question. Are they still active, the ants, or are they dead?
It sounds like they are. Yeah, one says that the bread maker has ants nesting inside the LED display, and then there's another one that says, well, it sounds like they're just coming out. Must be coming. They don't say exactly, but sounds like they're coming out of the printer and the laptop. Yeah,
it's not unusual. We've had them, so it's not a weird question at all.
I'd myself, I'd be pulling them apart best I could. Maybe a bit of surface spray where you think they're coming in, not actually in the cooking compartment, but a bit of surface spray where they're coming in for just a little bit, and see what happens.
Yeah, but probably pulling apart if there's a bit of a nest or whatever
there's a nest, you might have to pull it apart. Yeah. Okay.
I bought a toaster home from The Verge, and it was a 4-slice toaster. We're using a 2-slicer, and I saw this on The Verge 4-slice toaster. Well, I brought home the earwigs with it, and
oh yeah, they're saying that the ants are alive. They're all definitely in there. Okay. One more question before we have to wrap up. But it's getting back to legislation and phones and computers. So this, Claire is asking, she's found that there's a certain point where Apple refuses to update the software with any old phone, like say the iPhone 5, and I had that issue, or an older laptop. If you continue to repair at some point, you'll have to fix the screen or the battery, and if you can find the parts, it's hard. Do you know anything in the new legislation proposals that will mean companies need to continue to provide the same service, such as updates to older models of technology?
Look, I think we've got an iPad first gen, and yeah, it can only go to a certain operating system. But I think you'll find they always put a ceiling of about 7 years on support. You see it in Windows all the time. Windows XP was supported to 2000 and whatever. Windows 7's going to lose its support basically this year sometime, I think. So I think that will always happen. I think you won't get manufacturers giving you a lifetime support. I remember I bought some really good pots from Myers that had a lifetime guarantee for everything, and 15 years later the change of someone bought them out and they just changed it. You know, it never had a lifetime warranty anymore. So it's, I can't see legislators saying that, you know, there's going to be a lifetime, you know, support for a particular item. They'll put a ceiling on it for sure.
With the right to repair, there might be, you know, longer periods, or, you know, the design might have to change that, you know, first gen, you know, what we were talking about first, you can talk about
iPad.
that. Yeah, the iPad, the parts will have to be able to be, you know, swapped about, and what we were talking about last night?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. But what I'm trying to say is that because of, you know, right to repair laws, we might see things lasting a bit longer, and that, you know, there'll have to be parts available, and that they'll have to be, you know, be able to be swapped from, you know, say the iPad 1 to the iPad 2, rather than, you know, not having any support related to it. Am I? Because I'm not tech.
No,
tech savvy.
I don't think so. I think the main thing is what I said before, is that whatever comes out will have a 7 or maybe a 10-year support scheme, and then they'll stop making parts for it, and you'll just have to source elsewhere, like the internet or eBay or whatever, if you want that item replaced, because, you know, 7 years is a long time in tech speak. Yeah. But saying that, like, refrigerators used to last a lifetime. Now, you know, they want them to last 7 or 8 years, which is ridiculous. You know, they should last forever because they're a sealed system, but that's not how it works. You know, they'll. I think again, we need to get the thin end, the wedge in. If we can get, you know, support for 7 years, it's better than what we've got now. So
yes, we'll
see where it leads us to. I think, Carolina. So
and that's where I was getting mixed up. We're talking software, are we?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's where I was getting mixed up. I was thinking more hardware.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I guess it goes handy. Yeah, there's both aspects to it too. Yeah. But I guess we're going to have to leave it there, because there's another presentation happening soon. But thank you so much, Karen and Danny. We will definitely be sending out the links to the Bauer petition, but also the EU petition that you mentioned, as well as the ACCC link. So the right to repair petition in EU. And I think that's really, it's been very educational, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So I hope everyone out there gives repairing a go. You know,
Yes.
I mean, YouTube has heaps of tutorials and everything. You can certainly get in touch with Men in Australia, and they can point you in the right direction, or answer some questions. But then also, you know, go to a repair cafe event or an event, a fix-it event, and it's just a great community space anyway, to meet others and talk about this.
Absolutely.
aspect.
We let people know where we're going, where we will be on our Mended Australia Facebook page. So once they're all back and happening, you know, usually we pop up a few days before and say, oh, we'll be at Darebin Repair Cafe this weekend or whatever. So if you want to meet us, we'd love to meet you. Yes, we're happy to answer your questions on our Facebook page. And also just remember, we are administrating the Facebook page Right to Repair Australia. So if you want to, you know, sort of go down the rabbit hole and find out all about Right to Repair across the globe, follow that page because I post up articles about the Right to Repair from all across the globe, and that might sort of get you in the picture a little bit there.
Yes, thank you both.
Thanks so much for having
Thank you for joining us. No problem. Thank you
you,
everyone. And thanks
everybody.
everyone for tuning in.